We're going to go over everything NVIDIA. And by everything NVIDIA, I mean we're going to talk about our positions, what we think for the earnings coming up, and, well, why we know more than you. So kick it off, Mike. Tell them exactly where it's going to open and close and what positions they should be in verbatim.
No, it's a lot of pressure.
So
if I knew that knowledge, I'd be a very, very rich person.
I think you would. Actually, let me just pull up a chart real quick and let's get on stage here, because so far for the week it's done what I said. I would have really preferred it to be just a trending, because I said if we trend up going into Wednesday, I'm buying puts, and if we trend down, I'm going to buy calls. I just don't think it's going to be that easy. And I even said I probably gave both examples, but I think I might have said green Monday, turnaround Tuesday, and we're still right here. We got the mix of that, I guess. We sold off, we pushed right back up. Coincidentally, right around this bright yellow box, we've been hanging out here for the last week's worth of trading sessions. Earnings is tomorrow. So what are you thinking? Price action wise? Anything? What do you think about tomorrow day and then tomorrow earnings?
So I think tomorrow is going to be nothing but chop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to do much of anything. It's probably just hang out right in that yellow box pretty much all day. I think everyone's waiting for earnings, kind of like us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we'll see the fireworks either up or down. I happen to think it's going to be positive. They're going to kill earnings and it's going to shoot to the moon. That's my feeling.
Define sending it.
I can see it reaching all-time highs pretty soon.
Okay. So that's going to put it, so one standard deviation's all-time highs. That's 144.55.
Yeah.
So you think we just skip it right to there?
I think so.
Okay. Well, that's it for Mike, because we don't need that kind of negativity in our lives. I'm kidding. I haven't taken a specific earnings play on this. Like I talked about on Sunday, I've even considered buying puts and calls on this, which is not something I do. I think a lot of people might think it's one of those things that sounds cooler on paper than it does in actual real life execution, because options contracts cost more than ever, at the week of earnings. They have that volatility pretty well priced in. We're already expecting a move between 114 and 145. Yeah. So there's your $30 move just right there on 130 stock. But all right, so let me just say what I've been saying. So the last 4 quarters, the bar has been set to the floor. So their year-over-year growth has looked absolutely amazing, because we're just really – I don't think we've even scratched the surface of the AI stuff. I know a lot of people think it's a bubble. I think you're out of your minds. For the record, I'm putting Tom Nash in the thumbnail because he is wrong. In his video, he said – and surprisingly enough – maybe he watches me, I don't know. He said, remember my example of if this is the .com bubble, we're in 1996?
Yeah.
I actually heard him say 1995. So it was kind of cool to see somebody else saying that. But I 100% agree. If there's going to be a bubble, and I kind of think we're pretty well on our way to that, we're just getting started. We haven't even broke ground yet. Anyway, those last 4 quarters, I thought the bar just wasn't really set there. This is going to be our first earnings year over year. Is going to be comparative to that very first one that absolutely blew it up. And it's going to be one of those kind of like how Tesla was, hey, it's cool. We expect absolute perfection and greatness. I want you to come out looking like a Greek god, so it's one of those, if they come out and they dress the part, they do the thing, he comes out dressed like Zeus or, Thor, then it's a medium reaction. We just chop around, nothing. They got to come out and say, I'm even better than that. Yeah, I know we said this and we guided for that, but sorry, we still crushed it. And I do kind of think NVIDIA stands a chance to do that.
Yeah.
We've seen the other chip makers absolutely send it, but they don't have the data centers that NVIDIA has. And I don't know. I've been so back and forth, but a few videos of mine ago, up to a few months ago, I was telling you guys before the last earnings, I said green this earnings, red next earnings for that very reason. And I guess. Go ahead.
As I say, it's 50-50, right? It's going to go up or it's going to go down. I mean, and we don't have the crystal ball.
Mhm.
I'm actually hoping it does go sideways just for my calls that I'm in.
Well, that's what.
The sold calls, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm in sold calls as well. And we are going to get to that. Just want to tell Tommy was wrong. It's 1996, not 1995. No, what was I gonna say?
Sorry,
I
I
don't.
tracked you.
No, it's fine. I don't think it's a 50-50. And this is why now it's going to work in our favor, hopefully. I think it's more of a 33, 33, 33 because he can surprise it to the upside. And if
Yeah.
they come out, and I mean, if we're expecting 100 and they come out with 99, that's going to look like Chicken Little was right. The sky is going to fall. If they come out
Yeah.
like, hey, we thought we were going to do whatever, $100 trillion last quarter. We only did 99 trillion, we did the GDP of every country combined, but still we didn't hit the expectations.
Yeah.
People are going to lose their minds. But if they come out and just meet expectations, hey, we checked all the boxes you guys wanted. The only thing we didn't have time for was to put a bow on it. But, here's the gift. I think that's a chop, maybe even a slightly red. We'll give it to them slightly green. But that's why I say 33. I think there's more like a 66% chance it is not green. And I do word it that way specifically.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because of that. And now I stand to gain the most if it does chop. Man, if we could just chop this thing sideways, let Vega do its thing. Well, first of all, Vega's going to exit the building. Theta is going to do its thing. We're going to get that crush. The sold options just get a whole lot more worthless, zeroed out. What's the word I'm looking for there? They just get demolished.
They depreciate.
Yes. But that doesn't sound aggressive enough.
They lose value.
Yeah, I want death to come out with a scythe. That's what happens to the call options.
We'll come up with a term for that.
Mm-hmm. So do you just think all-time highs? If they surprise to the upside.
If they surprise the upside, we're going to see all-time highs within the next 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah.
If they surprise the upside, we're going to see it in the next 20 minutes. That's where I think. If they actually do surprise and not just come out with expectations, but beat it, I think we're questioning. 1 standard deviation is 145. 2 standard deviations is 160.
Oh, my God.
That would hurt if it went to 160.
Right
now. So let's get into the options realm. Now, I am not neutral delta. I have half my position has some sold calls, and they're kind of scattered. Now that absolute insane run did put, because I'd sold a couple 1.8. Now the growth account is in 117s. I'm in some 118s, some 120s. So I'm waiting for Vega Crush because I'll drop it down and then I'll roll it. And if you guys don't know, if you're new to the channel, you don't have to roll up and out. A week's worth of theta is a week's worth of theta. It's just a matter of, $5 in the money versus $5 out of the money actually pays the same thing. But so what I want to do is, if we chop sideways, is roll the 120s to the 121s, the 118s to the 119s. And each week, and I say this a lot lately, is I'm unlocking profits. Because essentially when I sold that 118 call, the 120 call, I said I would sell my shares at that strike price. We're already above it. So when I roll it from 120 to 121, I get paid to do so. Plus I unlock $100 worth per contract of profits that are already there. Like I just got to open the screen door at this point. That's all I got to do. But to your reaction, sending it to 160, now we're so far away from my strike price that it would be nothing. I would have to let the shares go, or hope a data center catches fire. And there's a pullback.
I would even possibly entertain shelling out a couple of bucks just to unlock some profit, but that's going to be difficult. But it wouldn't be a lot. It'd be under 10, 12, 15 bucks around there, right? I might shell out per contract, but to unlock the 100. But but that's gonna be difficult, right? If it just shoots up to 160, we're the shares are probably gone. The shares are gone.
let the shares go. And at that point, it'll make more sense to let the shares go and just sell the puts to get back in.
Exactly.
And if for some reason you guys are following this, because again, I'm gonna have to put Tom Nash in here. Uh, if you're following from him, you guys just don't know what we're talking about. It's essentially getting paid to buy and sell stocks. So selling puts is just getting paid to put a limit order to buy. Selling calls is a limit order to sell. That's all it is. I like to do weeklies because I like to move my strike around and not be in this situation. So when you hear me refer to it as management mode, when I sold the 118s, they were out of the money, right? Then Nvidia just turned on a dime. Pelosi got her friends and her cronies to buy, and just that buy side activity just sent it up. And now all of a sudden, I'm not so out of the money anymore.
Yeah.
But a week of sideways or pulling back essentially is a free week of unlocked profits later, because I'll roll my strike up. Each week I try to get $1. I roll my strike up one strike. Sometimes, now, Mike, you said you don't mind paying $10-12. In the options realm, that's 10 or 12 cents. But 100 shares per contract, so that ends up being, $10-12. What I like to do, and what I do most times if I'm in that scenario, is I have a pretty big income bias. I just like to collect money. I do not like to pay for things. I like to get paid. So I would actually forego that and just do an extra week. And I find giving that extra week worth of time, sometimes you have to. For instance, like Amazon. Amazon doesn't go in dollar increments, almost similar price stock, but it goes from $1 to $2.50 each time. So you almost have to give it that extra week, knowing it's still going to be $1 per week. Sorry, I had your phone on there for a
second. So you're asking me a question. What was that?
Oh my gosh, you missed all that?
Yeah.
See, ladies and gentlemen, when you join the Patreon, there's like his side and then there's my side. Just know that my side has literally everything. On that note, without even plugging Patreon, just know if there's something I say that's a little too complicated, a lot of the followers have found that asking Mike, being that quick little medium, has definitely toned it down a little, made it a little bit easier to understand. I say this a lot, and so I do want to not congratulate. Give credit where it's due. Mike does help me talk to the humans. It makes it easy. All right, so we'll bring it back in. Get back to Nvidia. How bad do you think it is if they surprise to the downside? Because it's the like you say, the chances are not zero. It's greater than zero.
It is greater than zero. Downside,
one standard deviation puts you at 114. This is what market makers have priced in, right? And two standard deviations, 98.95.
That second yellow zone, the thicker, lighter one of the two, that one
right here.
I think that's where it gets to.
I don't know if I'd be upset about that or not.
I would not.
The one thing I forgot to mention, and shout out to Dom in my group, because I used to do this all the time. Man, I was like a ninja when it came to earnings. What was the last one? The one that who was Microsoft in trouble with? They had the outage. It was CrowdStrike.
CrowdStrike.
So my last play, and I even did this during a stream. I don't know if you were there, but it was an earnings play.
I remember that one.
Yeah, and I had a limit order down here at this zone. Earnings, dropped it down. My order filled, and then nothing but sunshine and rainbows with some roses in there. It just kept going up. Now, hopefully, Nvidia does that. But so what I'm going to do, just like I have down here, is a limit order to buy shares right at, and I'm thinking 115. This got brought up in the group again because Dom, he's thinking about doing it around the 112 mark. He's like, I'm going to buy right there at that zone. And I do think we'll see quite a few buyers there. If we were to get to that level, I think we're waltzing right through. I think this around right here and here is where Pelosi's texting her friends. The don't buy it because I'm buying it text. But there's about to be some regulation involved. So I think right here, we're first of all, this $100 mark, anything sub 100 and they're gobbling it up. I mean, politicians are buying this up like a game of hungry hippos. They're just grabbing it. So I'm not too entirely worried about buying it down here. So that's why. And now he said he was going to do this. I want to give him credit because I'm going to have to just copy it. he said he might just scatter a few positions, kind of just placing little landmines. Like right now I'm dead set. I'm going to have a buy order at 115. I might toss another one out at 110. So if it does hop down, I get it at that price. If it doesn't, then
yeah, that
hopefully I'm right.
type 2 was it around 110? That's
Yeah.
probably where I would have to pick up some more.
Okay. So the 110 mark is so how I usually word it on my streams is, and this is where people ask, what's your rain or shine event zone?
Yeah.
That's where I'm buying it. I don't care what's going on outside of nukes. That's the only disclaimer. If I'm not wearing sunglasses and a lead vest at 11 p.m., I'm buying this. I'm buying it at this price. Just know that that next stream is going to be how I bought it, whether it's $50 less or more. I bought it at that price.
Yeah.
Nvidia's the one I don't care about owning. So if it goes down, it's obviously great for us in management mode because per contract, you typically get about $150 a week per contract just selling the 20 deltas. It's a great income ticker. I guess at what point is it? This is something everybody needs to think about too. Nvidia sends it up. Now I just talked about rolling it a couple weeks out, getting paid $60 to roll my strike up. Yes, I unlock 100. Might have collected that $60, and for me that stays worth it. But the further you get away from at the money, both in or out of the money, the less you collect, and there is a tipping point where you just got to let the shares go and start selling closer to at the money puts to get that weekly income. Now, seeing how this is in my investment account and my trading account, I guess I should disclaimer. I am a full-time trader, but what does pay the bills a lot of times is just selling weekly options. Again, being the slot machine, not the person at the slot machine.
Right.
Do you have a tipping point in mind where you do just let the shares go and just start over and sell? Because if it pushes to 160, you're gonna let the shares go 120, whatever, and you're probably gonna start selling the 150s or
Yeah.
around there.
I think if I actually had to pay 2 weeks in a row to
Mhm,
actually roll,
mhm,
that'd be my stopping point. I would do one. For me, basically, as long as I'm collecting premium and able to roll
mhm.
my strike out and up, I'm okay. I could do that forever. Even
Yeah.
even even if I'm collecting 10, $12, who cares? I'm still
Mhm.
I'm raising. Are you going to pass it $12 on the ground if you're just walking by it? No. So
I
I'm going to
would.
go.
My back hurts. I'm just kidding.
So I will continue to do that forever as long as I can, and eventually I
Mhm.
will. Hopefully, I'll catch up. But if I have to
Yeah.
pay 2 weeks in a row, that'd be my stopping point.
For me, I can already just see people already in the comments without even making it to this far. Because effectively, what we've gone over is three different accounts. Because how you do it is how I do it in my investment account. I'll roll up and out. I will literally roll leaps if I have to. Like I'm
Yeah.
just not going to let it go. I don't want to be managing it that much in my investment account anyway. Trading account inside my trading account, there's trading strategies and then there's income strategies. And Nvidia it's actually in both of them right now because I've talked about buying calls and puts. That's a separate trade all in itself, albeit the same four letters. Um, like income is I just want income. How much capital I have out there? How much money am I making on it? So as far as like because someone's gonna say like, oh, you let the shares go at 120 and now you're gonna sell the 150s. And I get it. If your IQ rivals the number on the thermostat, this is probably too much for you. So you have to just watch the rest of the videos until you do understand it. But until then, income. So I care about how much am I making a week. I can't call my water company and say, "Hey, stocks didn't pay this week. Could you hang tight another week?" I let my shares go at 120. I got to wait for Nvidia to get back to 120. Like that's just not how it works. So yes, as a matter of income, I don't actually care what puts I'm selling. I'm just selling the 20 deltas. Uh, and then trading gets a little bit trading's where your execution is absolutely on point. And earnings, like you said earlier, it's a binary event. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. Like there's an announcement, and then there's going to be the reaction.
Right.
The probably the more likely scenario is it does a little bit of both. Shoots up, shoots down, flat, and then maybe we break that zone a little bit up, a little bit down, but all negligible. Uh, that's probably best case scenario and the most likely scenario. but I don't want to downplay the Nvidia surprise. Because if they do surprise up or down, I think that's where it gets nuts. This video is supposed to be 8 minutes long. I'm sure we're past that. What do you think the chances are? I'm going to give my final answer. 80, 10, and 10. 80% chance we probably just chop around, move around. Hopefully it picks up my limit order to buy shares. If you guys are going to try to copy that, don't forget to set your orders to extended hours so it doesn't just fill randomly the next day. Yeah, 80% we chop, 10% we surprise up, 10% we surprise down.
So rarely what I want and what happens are the same thing.
Oh, no.
So because what I want is for this to actually either go sideways or drop some, I think this is going to rock it up.
We're going to just full send.
It's going to be full send.
You know what really annoys me about that the most is you can watch the older videos of mine. Nvidia's my third spot in my investment portfolio, and it pushed up to like $400.
Yeah,
maybe $350, maybe $450. Let's call it $400, give or take a little bit. I was like, you know what? I'm going to add on when it pulls back. If it pulls back to here, I'm going to add on. Well, I kept saying that, and around the 450 mark, I was like, this is stupid. I got to just keep buying it. I finally did add on, but it was literally like as I'm selling options on Tesla and Meta, using that premium to snowball it and buy more Meta and Tesla shares. Nvidia's just trucking, the little engine that could, just hanging with that position value-wise because it just kept going up. So out of everything, Nvidia was the one I did not add shares on. I just watched it grow, and I'm just like, this is annoying, because I wanted to be in more, but I just couldn't because it just kept going up, and it's gonna really annoy me if it just sends it to 160. Like I'm sure some YOLOers will be happy in posting that on Instagram, but God, I'm gonna be annoyed.
I'm with you.
Like, it better not. So hopefully you're wrong, and we just chop. Fingers crossed. Chopped. We stay right here. We close it. It's 128.02 right now. Hopefully, we close the week at 128.02. And we just call it good. I guess let's wrap it up here. The top zone. So we have market makers are expecting these dotted lines. Top zone is going to be that 139, 140 mark. That will be all-time highs. What it wouldn't surprise me is to end up actually seeing a wick to that top zone, ultimately holding this zone right here. Hits that, pulls back, and we hold. That buy zone right here. That is my. I'm gonna mentally. I have Pelosi on the line, and
that's what I'm looking at right there.
And we're buying. I'm gonna make it a little bit less. All right. Well, hopefully we're not in too much damage mode. That only just means there's going to be a part 2 coming out on Thursday or Friday.
Sounds good.
We can talk about how we did it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully talking about how much we made on the sold calls and not how much we're just going to leave on the table. All right. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the next one.
See ya.